Okay, so in front of me I have three different books, and in each one of these books I have poetry written. It's my own poetry, of course, like it's not like I'm going to copy. This is my first poetry book that I ever had. This book means a lot to me. I mean, it's all duct taped up and put together by tape. This book means a lot to me because this is the first poetry book I got, and who gave it to me was in high school. I took childcare as my vocation, and this one little girl and me and her just clicked. I clicked with all the kids, but she was in the older kids class, and we clicked. I clicked with her, and for her graduation, she got me this book and a pair of earrings. Of course, the earrings are, I have no clue where because I'm not a jewelry girl, but that's not the reason why I don't have them. It's because our house caught on fire and I lost a lot of my stuff, of course. So that those areas I don't know where, but I kept this poetry book. This poetry book means way too much to me. My early poetry, the poetry that I written in high school, that's gone. Only because my dad called himself being a sentimental person. He wasn't really there for me and my sisters. Like, he lived in the house with us and everything, but he wasn't there. And so what he would do is he would go through our room. Me and my three sisters, we shared a room, and he'll like take some of our stuff and he'll put it in his room as like collectibles or whatever I don't know why he got them. And he took my poetry, which was like just like notebook paper put together by like a little bind. But there's this boy in high school. I didn't have a crush on him or anything, but he was a really good friend of mine. And he wrote beautifully. And he wrote my name in beautiful letters, just gorgeous. And I had it as my cover. And my poetry, a lot of my poetry, once I left that little packet inside one of my teacher's classroom, and she read my poetry. And she gave it to the school social worker because they thought something bad was happening to me in my house and everything. I was like, no, you guys, I'm a very happy person. I live a happy life. I love my family. Nothing happens there. It's just my poetry is a lot of it is very sad. And it's very seldom that I write a happy poem, but I want to share with the world my poetry. And this is a lot for me because one, I have really bad stage fright. Guess that's why I'm at home in my own room reading just through the camera. But a lot, it takes a lot for me to put my stuff out there, my drawings. The only thing I'm really confident about is my puzzles, which I have a lot of. I don't know if you guys can see in the mirror in the background. That's just some of my poetry. All through my walls are full of poetry in my room. Actually, I will show you. This is one wall. This is like from top to bottom. Behind all of this, there's puzzles all back in the back of the wall. And of course, my Disney wall. Yes, I have a line in there. All the way down to the ground, there's a stack of puzzles. I don't know if you guys saw all that, but that's what it is. But I want to dedicate my YouTube channel to reading my poetry. And so probably every day, probably whenever I just get the chance or just whenever I want to, I'm going to read a poem to you guys. So I'm going to start with my first poem out of this book, of course, and I'm going to work my way through my books. The title of this poem is entitled Why, Just Why Don't I Believe Him? And this is how it goes. It says, he told me I was beautiful. I lowered my eyes to the floor and told him I wasn't. He told me I looked pretty the way I am. I told him I needed to lose weight because I was too fat. He told me my eyes were beautiful and they sparkle like the sun. I broke our eye contact and said sorry. I broke our eye contact and said that they were too big and dull. I wish they were a prettier color. Why? Why don't I believe him? He told me that he loved me and he'll never let anybody hurt me again and that I'll always be his, boo. I told him I loved him too and that I'll try with all my heart to love him with the best ability possible and put all my trust in everything he tells me. Why? Why just don't? Uh, yeah, I'm going to start over. This is why I don't like to, because sometimes I skip over words, sometimes I don't see words, or reading my poems aloud, then I realize like, oh wait, I spelled this wrong word, or whatever. But let me start over. Sorry. It says, why? Just why don't I believe him? Of course, the title. It says, he told me I was beautiful. I lowered my eyes to the floor and told him I wasn't. He told me that I look pretty the way I am. I told him I needed to lose weight because I was too fat. He told me my eyes were beautiful and they sparkle like the sun. I broke our eye contact and said, they're too big and dull. I wish they were a prettier color. Why? Just why don't I believe him? He told me that he loved me and he'll never let anybody hurt me again, and that I'll always be his boo. I told him I loved him too, and that I'll try with all my heart to love him with the best ability possible, and put all my trust in everything he tells me. Why? Just why don't I believe him? Because everything he tells me is too good to be true about me. Growing up, I had a very low self-esteem because all through elementary school and middle school, and of course some of my years in high school, I was bullied really bad. And I've always been a small size, but I've always saw myself as fat sometimes. So some days there'll be go where I won't eat anything because I just felt too fat, or there will be days where I just felt like I didn't see my life as worth living anymore. I didn't see anything to live for or anything. So you see, in high school, I was one of the people who I could talk. I talked to a lot of my friends, and I talked to a lot of them out of committing suicide. And the reason why it was so easy for me, because everything that they're feeling, I felt it too. And I just told them the words that I just wish I heard. And I went through a lot growing up. I have a great family. My immediate family is amazing. My extended family is amazing. But there are some people in my extended family who hurt me. And not extended family blood, but like add-on extended family. And just that pain stuck with me. And there was people who were supposed to be my friends who they hurt me too. And but a lot of this pain shaped who I am today and shapes my writing. And a lot of my poetry, some of my poetry is just straight up stupid, like really dumb. Like, okay, just because. I'm gonna read the second poem that I have in here. It's titled High School. This is what it says. Freshman year, little immature freshman. Sophomore year, still immature but with style. Junior year, of course, still immature with style and biggest high school record. Senior year, still immature with style, with the biggest school record, but the best girl that ever stepped foot in Metro Tech. Funny how in every high school year, they will always be immature for the rest of their lives. That was the poem, you guys. I mean, because then again, when you think about it, we're all immature in a sense. There's always that one word that will make us laugh and giggle like a little kid, or there's always that one thing where you just say and you're just like, oh my gosh, let's do it. It's like always being in love with Disney. I mean, no matter how old you are, you can always love Disney. No matter how old you are, you're always going to be immature. Just a little bit. But, so, yep, this is my first video. Technically, it's not my first video, but it's going to be my first video towards my poetry reading. And probably some short stories, but you know, a lot of my short stories are just chapters to a book I'm writing, so they're technically not short stories, but yep. So I don't post YouTube videos to get subscribers or likes or whatever. I post because this is always what I wanted to do, just put my poetry out there. I should go to poetry readings and things like that. In high school, we did that, we like submitted poetry and we did poetry readings and everything. And a lot of my poems ended up on the little like handout that they gave people. Like 3 of my poems, little parts from them, were on that paper, and that made me feel like, oh my gosh, like they actually like my poetry. Someone out there likes my poetry. So, yep, my name is Key-mya, but I'm go by Kiwi Angel because it's a nickname that my friend gave me in high school. It's like the Twitter name she gave me, but Kiwi was my nickname in high school, and it's a name that I stuck with because it's easier for my students to remember, easier for other people to remember because a lot of people can't remember Key-mya. I mean, you guys, my name is spelled Key-mya. Key-mya. It's not difficult. I've been called Key-mya, 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 Key, everything. I've been called almost every name from the book. Literally, my graduation, my whole name is Key-mya Monet Holt. I put that on the paper. The teacher I got, she read my name, Key-mya Monet Holt. I was like, who the hell is that? That's why I was just like, I was standing there. She's like trying to tell me to walk across the stage. I looked at her, I was like, that was not my name. I walked across the stage anyway because, I mean, it's not like I could tell, like, hey, yo, this is my name. Say it right. I was like in the middle of the walking across the stage, like my family was just like, they realized like, oh wait, that's my daughter. And that's my mom started clapping, everybody started clapping. But I was just like, I don't know who she called, but that's what she called me. I mean, my name is not Key-mya. That's Key-mya, you guys. My name is Key-mya. M-Y-A. It's like, you guys, it's literally separated into 2 different names. Let me see. Separated into 2 different things. Key-mya. But most people can't figure that out. So, Kiwi Angel is what I'm going to go by. So, Kiwi Angel out.